All right, Tesla update here on the 24th. I'm going to do a market update later, but Tesla only this video. Going to go over the long-term and short-term counts. Long-term, I see three different counts. That makes sense to me. First one is the one that's short-term bearish. It's kind of like neutral and then bearish later. So we'd come down here probably, I was estimating sometime in late December. We're down here around 160, 165. And then we would have a huge move up in 2025. So that's the first one. Second one is, excuse me. Second one is fourth wave ended right here. And we are in a diagonal. Something like that. So that one's pretty easy. This would be an ABC move right here. So this would be like this. We come back here into this wave and then make another move higher. So that's the second one. That's very bullish. And the third one is that this is the A wave down, and we're currently in the C wave of the overall B wave. It would actually be WXY. Because these are ABC moves, it could be either one. It would just be like that. And then we would have a C wave down. So this would be a big drop after we hit the top here. And the top would probably be around, 340 to 380, maybe 400. So those are the three different possibilities on the long-term chart. I'm very bullish. I think this is either the fourth wave or that's A wave. So we're in the middle of a second wave if this is an A wave, because it overall would be a big drop eventually. So that could potentially go all the way down to 43 bucks. So Tesla, those are three long-term charts. Now let's go on the short-term and look at this. Try to figure out what's going on here. You notice that this parallel line has been respected on all of these moves. That's one reason why I think this one makes the most sense. And the fact that we got a pretty big pullback here. We pulled back to basically the 0.61 fib in a very short period of time. So I think it's likely that this is an A wave. I don't think it's likely that this is a second wave. Could be, but it's not likely. And then we're getting this sideways move right here. Zoom in here a little bit farther. You can see how this is sideways. I would rather have it be more like this. We're getting a sideways move here. So basically, I think this is more than likely a B wave of a move down. And we hit into this daily supply zone, backed off. This is weekly demand. We hit that, bounced out of it. Another daily supply zone, and then this is monthly supply zone. So I've got my levels right there. Now if we look at standard deviation, another way of looking at this. Where are we at in the standard deviations? You can see here, this topped around 2 or 3 standard deviations. We came back down here to the bottom, bounced. It doesn't make sense for us to go straight down right now. But it does, it is possible that we come down here. We did have a pretty big move here on the hourly. So on the hourly, we got pretty much to the top here. What makes the most sense to take all this into account with a gap fill up here, a gap fill down here, is something like that. Excuse me. So Right here, I think that this can make one more high early next week, or we've already started that move down. 2 videos ago, I said we finished below the 20 DMA. We're now above it, but this move right here on smaller time frames almost looks like an ABC move to me, to be honest. We hit the 1.61 fib exactly and then back off. And then this is looking very corrective as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like this next week. Move down. Could just be the B wave right here, but it's not very long compared to how long this took. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this. Potentially up here. Let's see where the top would be. Maybe up here, back into daily supply, or this is a very quick B wave or X wave, and we're going to see something like this down. However it is, I mean, it's kind of hard to predict on the smaller time frames, but however it happens, I think the most likely scenario is we're headed down here maybe into like early September. And then after that, we rise into the rate cuts. I think the rate cuts are like September 20th maybe is when they're going to talk. I'm not 100% sure on that. But you can see here on the hourly, this makes a lot of sense. And on the daily, that would get us up here towards the very top of the range. And then a big move down like that. Maybe all the way into December. That doesn't really make that much sense either time-wise. Might be quicker than that. Maybe into the election. And then I think we're ready to go higher. I think that would be the bottom. We'd be ready to go higher. This could potentially even still be a B wave too. That possibility is still there as well. This could still be like that. Or it would be the E wave right here, and we'd head up higher as well. So basically, with all this being said, I'm pretty bullish over the next month going into rate cuts, and I think the rate cuts, whenever it happens, is going to be bearish. So again, this could still be a fifth wave higher. It doesn't really matter. I'm kind of on the fence of that because this could still be WXY as well. I've showed that. WXY, it's a sideways move. That makes a lot of sense. We got a deep fourth wave. So if it does make a new high, okay, maybe it's a 5-wave move. I mean, I go back and forth on that. It doesn't really matter. I'd be going back into supply. I'd be shorting here for the gap fill down here at 201. Probably pretty quickly. So maybe it makes sense that this ends up being a B wave. Either way, again, this is kind of what I'm looking for. I don't think that this is a first wave. And even if it is a first wave, then you're looking at a fifth wave up to 230, and you're still looking for a pullback to 201. So unless there's some kind of crazy move higher in the overall market, and this just keeps on going and fills the gap right away, that would change things. But I don't think that that's very likely. So I think a pullback to 201 and then a move up here to 245 maybe by mid-September makes the most sense. And then a complete breakdown from 245 down to 160. If something changes, I will update you. That's the number one path I have right now. We'll see. It could change by tomorrow. I could say, oh, this happened. This seems more likely now. But right now, as it stands, I do think that 245 gap is going to get filled probably prior to rate cuts. Maybe they keep it all the way up here and it goes higher and it stays up here into October for the Robotaxi event. But in my opinion, the overall market will probably overpower that, and it might even fall into the Robotaxi event. So we might be down here sometime in October, and then the Robotaxi event is a buy the dip. That'd be very surprising. Everyone thinks we're going to run into the Robotaxi event. It might run into rate cuts, fall into the Robotaxi event, and then go up after the Robotaxi event. So that's my number one scenario. Fall to 200, up to 245, and then probably fall big time based on what I see in the chart and standard deviations and all that stuff. One other thing to point out is I really need to change my membership again and get the premium service here. But 200 is also right around the gap fill. So I think we're going to end up breaking the 20 and the 50 sometime this week and come down here to 201 gap fill around the 200 DMA, and then use that as a place to bounce off. Move up here into the rate cuts, and the rate cuts, when they happen, are probably going to be bearish. So that's it for this video. Those are the three long-term scenarios I see, and then the short-term count that I'm favoring. And that's pretty much it. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. I added the membership today. If you want to join, it is like $3 a month. You just get some member streams. You get what is it called? You get the replies, priority replies, and yeah, a few other things, perks like emojis and that kind of, maybe an avatar, stuff like that. Anyway, $3 a month, and then the other one's a more advanced one if you want personal charting on stocks, videos on stocks, email support, that kind of stuff. I might add other stuff like Discord in the future, but right now that's all I'm doing. So check it out. If you like it and you want to support the channel, you like my videos, if I help you make money, then sign up. That's all I got for this video. That's Tesla. I'll do a market update here later in the day. And enjoy the rest of your weekend.